Last summer I had some health. Last summer I had some health work done and I discovered that my blood pressure was not very good. It was marginal. So I decided to make some changes in my life. I cut out salt as much as I could, got more sleep, more exercise, and I also started something that you'll be reading about, the full plate diet. After 6 weeks, I had lost 14 pounds. But more importantly, I had more energy for doing what really matters in life. Love. The So That principle of love. Getting in better health, doing our balanced best so that we can love better. And when that happens, it turns out like this. Enjoy the journey.
Okay, I'm on now, okay? Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another day that we have been blessed with. Another opportunity to live life well, and another opportunity to talk about our health. And so I want to welcome you to this opportunity that we have now to talk about the eighth component of our health, which is nutrition. Let's review quickly these 8 components together, okay? C, creation. I'm just going to read through them, right? Sorry. Of course, the word is creation. Choice, rest, environment, activity, trust in God, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. These are the 8 principles of health that we've been looking at. We are now on N, nutrition. This is the end of these 8 days. They have flown by, and I'm grateful for the time that we've been able to share together. If you happen to be watching this later than when it's aired, than when it's live streamed, please don't let that stop. Don't let that stop you from watching it, from engaging with it. I love to receive comments even later on because it lets me know that hey, somebody somewhere is reaping the benefits of this time, and that's a good thing. So don't hesitate to reach out. Don't hesitate to connect via the comment section. Even now, it's great to have Kate comment. She said, "Hi, glad to be here." Hi, Kate. Um, let me know that you're here by commenting, and also if you watch this later, one of the good things about commenting is that maybe you'll have a question and you'd like that to be addressed. Maybe you want a resource of some sort that I can share with you. So don't hesitate, even if you're watching this later, to connect. Okay. So today is going to be a little bit different because my beautiful girls are with me. Now they're kind of out and about and around. We are blessed with a beautiful room here, this sunroom that is part of our outdoor space, indoor outdoor space, a connection to nature. And we love to be in here. We also love to be out there. And so I'm super, super grateful. Ella, can you do me a favor and turn on the fan? That'd be awesome. Thank you. So, and my Ella's just picked tomatoes, which is so just, it works for the day, right? We're talking about nutrition. We're talking about what we put into our bodies, how we feed our bodies. Now, before we get there fully, just want to remind you that when you do comment, I then get to know who you are so that I can give you something. Look at that. This is a huge magnet. Like it's huge, right? Compare that to my hand size. It's huge, humongous. And so this is a great way for you to remember the commitment that you've made to yourself and to your health. And so want to give these away. So be sure if you specifically would want a magnet, let me know and we'll connect offline and I'll drop this in the mail for you. I have several of these. So maybe you and a family member want to improve your health, take care of your health in some way, shape, or form. Let me know, hey, I'd like 2 of those or I'd like 3 of those and we can see what we have. All right. And there are a couple of other ways, a couple of other giveaways that I'd love to share with you too. Now, we're talking about nutrition, what we put into our bodies. And um, let me read you a quote here that's in the book. And as I said yesterday, I believe, last night, if you did not actually register and you're watching, no problem at all. But if you didn't register, then you didn't receive one of these books. And I would love to gift a book to one of you who have been watching. So don't hesitate to let me know that you are viewing. A quote from the book, from this chapter on nutrition, says this: "To eat is a necessity, but to eat intelligently is an art." To eat is a necessity, but to eat intelligently is an art. And this quote is from, I'm gonna, yeah, I won't try to pronounce. No, I will. I will. It is from La Rochefoucauld. La Rochefoucauld. That's my French accent there. So, my first question for you is this: do you find yourself eating intelligently? Feel free to interact with me here, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or Periscope. Interact with me here. Do you eat intelligently? Okay, so what's the intellect? I'm not the world's greatest at defining words, especially on the spot. But when you think about the word intelligent, you think, I would assume, about the word intellect, right? It's the use of our brain in a very intentional, specific way. Do you really engage your reasoning, your all of that good stuff when you're eating? Or do you just consume based on the necessity portion of all of this? Do you eat intelligently, thinking about, processing thoughtfully what you're putting into your mouth, or do you just consume? Okay. Feel free to comment consumer, or you could comment uh, intelligent eater, or however you want to comment. Let me know what kind of eater you are. I am both, but more so just the eating out of necessity, that kind of a consumer of food. Here's the dynamic. Here is the dynamic in my household. My husband is the cook, and he thankfully believes in uh, the the rainbow. Okay, this is something we've taught our kids to eat the rainbow. Excuse me. So when we eat the rainbow, can you tell me what that means, girls? What does it mean to eat the rainbow? Just yell it out from where you are.
To like eat all the different colored vegetables.
Yeah, eat all the different colored vegetables and fruits. And if brown is the only color on your plate, what kind of food are you eating? What's some brown food or like some light tan food?
Some sausages
Okay, yeah, sausages could be brown
or a hot dog.
or a hot dog. What's something else that we had for supper that's kind of a light tan?
Beans?
No, for supper. Bread. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love bread. I will use any excuse to use flour as the primary ingredient. Um, but we have taught our kids, let's eat the rainbow. Let's find a way to include as many colors on our plate as possible. And that's one way that my husband, and I really attribute this to him, my husband helps us to not simply be a consumer based on necessity, but an intelligent eater. Okay. So are you an eater out of necessity, sheer necessity? Hey, I'm hungry. I got to eat. It's breakfast, it's lunch, it's supper. Or do you eat intelligently? Let's think now of eating as an art form. Okay. I've already mentioned eating the rainbow. And for some of us who are visual learners, maybe you've literally seen the rainbow in your mind. We were driving the other day, driving home, and we saw part of the rainbow in the sky. So when you think of the rainbow, when you think of all of these colors that exist in the rainbow, it helps to think of this as an art. Okay, what is going where? If you're creating art of any kind, you're thinking intentionally. You're using your intellect in order to decide what you're placing where, okay? Not only are you thinking about color, you're thinking about the medium you're using, you're thinking about placement, you're thinking about all these different things, context, all these different aspects of art you're considering as you put it together. And so I'd love for you to sit right there though. So so lost my train of thought there. Yeah, so you're considering all these different things. You're looking at the context of the art that you're creating. All these different pieces go into your intellectual process of figuring out, here's the art that I am creating. So let's translate that now to our food. Let's translate this to what we're putting into our bodies, what we're feeding our bodies with. Let's think about this. If our, how do you want to put it, right? So our bodies are our bodies are the canvases, canvi. The canvas is my body, is your body. And now it's up to us to decide what goes, in this case, in the canvas. Or maybe you want to consider this like a vessel. I think of flowers, floral arrangements. Um, one of you girls mind getting the vase that's on the table, on the dining table, with the big flowers that Miss Sarah gave us? Yeah. So here's a great visual, I think, for us as we think about our bodies and consuming intelligently, thinking of this process as art. Okay, here we go. Thank you, honey. Can you close the door for me? So, oh boy, if you could smell this, you would just be in heaven. These are peonies, if you're not sure of what these are. When you look at them in the store, they're usually really just kind of folded in on themselves, and then you take them out of the store and they just burst open. Not quite, but kind of. Our neighbor gave these to us the other day on Saturday. Oh, they smell so good. So here's the instead of the canvas, let's think of our bodies as the vase. How's that? How's that for a visual for us? Here is our body, and maybe you're curvy like this, and or maybe you're slim in the waist like this. Whatever the case may be, however you want to compare yourself to a vase. Maybe you have a vase at home that you can use as your visual for your body, for your vessel. So here's this vessel, and we could put anything in here, literally anything. Would it be good for the vessel? Not necessarily, right? This is glass, but there's some things, if we put them in here over time, the glass would corrode, right? It would break down. It wouldn't be its normal, good, whole self. We could, um, we could, uh, what else could we do? We could paint this vessel, okay? We could choose to cover it up in something or another, right? So there are ways that we can impact the outside of our vessel, but we're talking about the inside of our vessel. So what are some other ways that we impact the inside of our vessel? So for this vase, like I said, we could put anything in here, but some things wouldn't be good for the vase in the end. Uh, we could put hot water in here, but this thin glass, I don't believe was made to withstand hot water. It was made for flowers. You usually don't put hot water in a vase. You don't want that for flowers because they'll wither very quickly. You want them to last for a good while. So you fill them with cool water, even cold water, you fill the vessel with. And that is a way of keeping the flowers the way that you want them to be. Beautiful, full, absolutely fragrant, just incredible. Okay. So now, if we are choosing to be intelligent eaters, if we are choosing to eat as if it is an art, now let's talk about what that might look like. Maybe it means that based on the context, which would be our particular vessel, our particular body, we're making decisions that are unique to us. Okay. Because I could look at you and your amazing being and say, oh man, I want their regimen. Or I could look at you and your sickly being and say, not going to do whatever they've done. But at the end of the day, my body is not your body. We have two very different bodies. And so I've got to realize what's good for my body. Everything doesn't always work for everyone when it comes to food. Now there are some really good foundational elements to consumption that we can look at and learn from, and I'm sure many of you already know a lot of those foundational elements. But there are some aspects of consumption that are not a one size fits all. I'll never forget talking with a new friend and hearing him say that he had tried a raw food diet, and he ended up just feeling weak and just not great at all. And then he ate eggs and he felt better, right? Now, you may you may not want to consume eggs for a number of reasons. And so you may say, oh, that can't be the problem with his consumption. It couldn't have been the eggs. Um, but maybe it was some nutrient that's in the eggs or something like that. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's something. But for him and for his context, his body, and for his context, which also includes his time of life and what he has access to and all of that, he needed to eat the eggs. He needed whatever the eggs have that he wasn't finding in other things, okay? So when we're talking about nutrition today, and now I should say this, I am not a nutritionist. I'm speaking from my own experience as an eater, and I am taking some cues also from our textbook. So we need to consider what works for our bodies. Our bodies are flawed. Some of us have genetic issues, inherited health issues, and so that will cause us to have to eat a certain way. uh, what is it that your body needs? Okay. If you're not sure, see a nutritionist, right? Talk to somebody who can walk you through what your body is, what your body needs, and how you're going to get there so that you can be somebody who eats intelligently. Okay. Now, another part of art is that, man, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, truly. Okay. So, again, what I may think of as absolutely wonderful, delicious, can't do without it, you may think of as, nah, that's not great. And that's real, right? You don't have to love Brussels sprouts. You don't. I'm sorry, you don't, right? Maybe your parents, one of your parents, cooked it. You didn't like it. It had that bitter edge to it. You never fell in love with Brussels sprouts. But hey, if I make your Brussels sprouts salad, you'll love it, guaranteed. but maybe not. And so let's not, again, try to force our vision or of what the beautiful art looks like on each other. Okay. So now let's think about some more of the intelligent part of eating. This is aspects of being thoughtful about what we consume. All right. The um, the video we watched at the beginning talked about the whole plate diet, and if you have the book, I want to encourage you to read in there and gain some more information about that. But right now, let's find my spot. Okay. There are some powerful pieces, and this is where we're really zoning in on our intellect. There's some powerful aspects of consumption. And the first one that the book talks about is thinking positively. Now, I've left the creation acronym up there very intentionally because I want to make some connections between nutrition and some of these other health principles. Um, so when we think about thinking positively about what we're eating, we can automatically jump to yesterday's topic, which was outlook. Excuse me. The book says this: add wholesome, healthy foods to what you already eat, and pretty soon the choices that are not as healthy will be eliminated and replaced by new foods. So you may be thinking, hey, I want to make some changes. I know I shouldn't be eating ice cream every day. I don't know, whatever your thing may be. And you may wonder, how am I going to shift? Well, one of the things is to think positively about your next steps. Again, this is engaging our thoughts in intentional ways. What can I do? What's that first step I can take? Right. These whole 8 days have been about the first steps we're taking to better health. So, what's this first step that I can take to improve my health and to eat intelligently? Okay. How can I eat in such a way that shows myself, I showing to myself that my body is a piece of art. Okay. I am a beautiful vessel within which um, peonies must be placed. Okay. So, how can I do that? Positive thinking. Instead of like total elimination of every bad thing I've been consuming, let's add a little bit of something that is really good. Okay. Instead of subtraction, let's begin with addition. Okay. And slowly but surely, as our tastes begin to shift, we will inevitably eliminate some of the things from our diet. Part of the reason for this is because when we add a few good things, we'll notice the shift. That we'll notice that we feel differently. We feel better. We feel more energized. We feel better able to make good choices. We are better able to rest. We're better able to enjoy our environment because we're not sick, right? These slow choices, these little steps will eventually make the big difference that you are hoping to get to. So, that first tip is to focus on the positive. Think positively about this process. Instead of total elimination, think simple addition. What good thing can I add today? So jot that down. Make a note for yourself. Maybe you type it in the comments. What's one good thing that you can add to your diet today? It may be water. Okay. All right. The next thing to think about, and this is helping us to improve our overall nutrition, is this statement that says the Creator gave us many different foods to enjoy. Savor the different tastes, textures, and nutrients. Okay, so again, back to this art visual. Uh, we all have different vessels. We all have different bodies. They come with all sorts of pluses and minuses. But as we consume, as we put things intelligently into our bodies, we get to savor the taste, the texture, right? The feel. If you're a visual artist, uh, or I should say like this, if the art you produce requires the use of your hands, then you're used to thinking about texture, how something feels, right? If you knit, you're used to thinking about how that knitted product feels. If you crochet, same thing. Some of the time, you're not even looking at what you're doing. Your fingers are moving with that needle because you know the difference between the needle and the yarn. You know what that movement feels like, and you enjoy that process. You've gotten into that habit. Similarly, with our food intake, God gave us so many different foods to enjoy. One of the reasons I know that I can just be a consumer of food and not a thinker of what I'm consuming is because I'm not slowing down to eat. I'm just stuffing my face. And I blame this still on my senior year of college. This is, and I'm not blaming my school, my teachers, anything like that, my friends. I'm blaming myself and my very rushed approach to life during my senior year. Now, this is back in 2000. So it's a long time ago to, really hold on to as the problem point. But I very vividly remember every lunchtime going to the cafeteria and never, hardly ever, I should say, hardly ever sitting in the cafeteria to eat. Hardly ever. I was quite shy, and I would say more insecure than shy. Wasn't the one to initiate, like, "Hey, do you want to go to caf together?" Generally not that person, at least not that I can recall. And my senior year, I remember just feeling really overwhelmed by the schedule that I had created for myself. I had a lot of hours I was trying to complete, and so I always felt that I needed to just shove the food in my mouth and get on to the next thing. A memory I have from my breakfast, not only breakfast, but also lunch, was Pop Tarts. I didn't grow up with Pop Tarts. That wasn't something that I think ever came into our household because my mom wouldn't have bought Pop Tarts. But boy, they had them in college, and that was a quick food item. Not healthy. Am I anti Pop Tarts? No, but certainly not the sort of thing you should be eating a ton of. Oh, am I holding on to this for you? Okay, you can sit with it over there. You can look at it. It's a magnet. Okay? Okay. I just have 15 more minutes, okay?
What about the
Yeah,
TV?
go ahead. You can check
Okay,
that out,
I'll
okay?
check the TV out.
So, yes, I'm letting my children check out TV. Um, so I'm not against Pop Tarts, okay? I am against, even then, I was against, like, just consuming Pop Tarts uh, in excess. I was definitely against that. But it was quick, it was easy, and so that's what I did. Now, and then the same was true for, other meals. Just whatever I could get quickly, move on with things that were portable, like Pop Tarts. That's what I gravitated toward. And I remember sitting on my bed in my dorm room, just shoveling it in because I had to get to the next thing. If I could do it all over again, I would either not take so many hours in one quarter. At the time we were on the quarter system, or I would somehow think more holistically about my time in college. Okay. Sure, you want to take 21 hours or whatever it was. Let's think strategically about how we're going to use our time. Okay. I was an RA. Being an RA while doing all that was quite a bit. Um, what you watched this morning. Okay. So, um, uh, where was I now? Back in my thoughts. Anyway, back to, let's just move on, okay? Because we don't have a lot of time. Um, we have all these different things to enjoy, and part of the reason we can't enjoy them is because we're moving through life very quickly. We're just zooming through. Next thing, next thing, next thing, on to the next. And we don't have time to actually like chew and feel like, that feels really good. You know, that texture, I really like that texture. It's nice and chewy, or it's nice and dense, or whatever the case may be. What if we really enjoyed our food like that? I want to invite you to do that. Okay. So first, focus on the positive, right? Think addition, not yet subtraction. And then second, remember that God gave us all of these different things to enjoy. So savor them, savor the taste, the texture, um, and the nutrients. Savor all of those pieces as you're consuming. And another part of enjoying the process, this is still under number two, is enjoy planning what you're going to eat. Make time for that. Let that be your artistic endeavor for the week or for, the next couple of days or however long you plan your meals out. Even if just so happens that you have yet to eat supper today, I would like to say just watch this later and go and eat. But if you're still going to eat later, maybe you're in a different time zone, you still have, supper coming. Take some time, even if you don't have a lot of things in your pantry or in your fridge, or, take some time to really think about the process of consumption, the process of filling your vessel beautifully. Okay. And enjoy it. Uh, Put on some music that you enjoy, take out the foods gradually, pretend you're a chef. I don't know. Whatever it takes to really enjoy the process altogether. Eat before you go shopping so that you're not, buying things just because they look pretty, etc. So, number one, think positively. Number two, enjoy the eating process. Number three, pay attention to our innate, which is our God given internal signals to help us determine what and how much to eat. Again, this means slowing down. If you haven't ever learned to rest now, and if you didn't get to watch the session on rest, go back to Friday. Yes, just this past Friday. Go back. No, Thursday. It was Thursday or Friday. I think Friday. Anyway, one of those days. Go back and listen to Pastor Jesse talk about rest and talk about restoration. Part of the reason we struggle with being able to pay attention to our belly saying, I'm full, or I'm at 80%, you can stop now, uh, is that we haven't learned to slow down, let alone rest. We don't know what that is, right? We're putting food into our mouths like, a shovel because we've just got to go, go, go. Um, and then we don't know how to just be, right? So pay attention. What can you do today to learn to pay attention to the signals that are already in you, the things that are the way your body is reacting that says, hey, that works, or hey, that doesn't work. For example, in the last week, I've consumed things, and today I need to figure out what exactly it was because I'm not quite sure. But I know what it was a few days ago. I've consumed things that afterwards just have my system feeling ill. That's exactly the word ill. Okay. And I need to know what those are so I can stop it. Um, Stop putting that into my body. Oh, I think I know what today's is. Um, so our body does speak to us, right? Maybe not audibly, maybe it should. But our body does speak and says, "Hey, enough. We're good. You do have food in the cupboards for later on. Um, listen, slow down enough, learn to rest long enough, learn to enjoy the process of creating and eating so that you can listen to the cues your body is giving you." Okay. Um, Number four, for best results, eat mainly a plant-based diet. For the last, I don't know, it feels like 5 years or so, being vegan, that's been the key word for a long time. Now it's more plant-based, right? Being vegan became what felt like a fad and what felt unnecessary to some of us who are not vegan. In the early phases of it becoming a more popular way to consume our food, it felt unnecessary. If you're not doing this for because it's related specifically to a very particular health issue, I know for someone like me, it kind of felt like, why are we doing this? Um, but I now understand the benefits of being plant-based. It is how God originally designed us. If you are a Bible reader and a believer in the Bible as the Word of God, then you are familiar with what it says about the food that God gave for Adam and Eve to eat, and the different dietary conversations that are throughout Scripture. For best results, eat mainly a plant-based diet. God's diet given in the Garden of Eden. These are the most nutrient-rich foods with numerous benefits that science continues to uncover. Now, you may just want to hit the pause button there and say, okay, I thought she was not going to go there, but she's going there, and this is not what I wanted to hear. Bear with me for a second, because I'm not going to be that person that you think I'm going to be. Okay. I myself am not 100% plant-based. Again, because I have a husband who is very food conscious. Um, and he's not like strict in his food, but he's, like I said, we eat the rainbow. Because of him and his example, a lot of what we consume is plant-based. And I love, I love, I love, I love, I love. If you tuned in at the beginning, you remember my comment about my oldest daughter who came in with a handful of tomatoes. We have a garden out there. And it's wonderful for, every summer, bunch of tomatoes, bunch of basil. Those are like, I guess, our main crop. They grow side by side. This year we also did sugar snap peas, which were delicious. We have bell peppers out there. We've had lettuce. Um, we have some cabbage. What else is in there? Anyway, as a parent, it is so beautiful to just see your kid eat, just and even like our neighbors' kids, we don't mind. They come over, and one of their kids in particular loves the tomatoes, and he'll just glean. It's beautiful to see that. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's great to be able to say, "Hey, we're having sandwiches today. Can you go grab some lettuce from the garden?" Of course, now it's hot, so those are kind of withering up. But uh, that again, thinking of food consumption as art, taking time to enjoy what we're putting into our bodies, enjoy the process of purchasing, of growing. Uh, that has been being able to pick from our garden has been one of the ways that we have been and encourage our kids to be plant-based in many ways. Okay. Um, of course, if we didn't have a garden, we would still eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. But having a garden, I believe, instills the love of fresh food even more. Some people don't eat fresh food not because they think it's disgusting, but because they haven't had enough exposure to it. It's not easy for them to get. There are places called, food deserts. You may have a Dollar General close by, but you don't have even a Walmart, and you certainly don't have a Publix or a Kroger or an Ingles or a what's the Winn-Dixie, or name your grocery store based on your region. And so we may turn up our nose at people who aren't plant-based, not realizing they literally don't know how to do that based on the resources at their fingertips. Okay. And even if we were to put a garden in their backyard, they don't have necessarily, this isn't speaking for everyone, but some of them don't necessarily have the bandwidth to tend to a garden, right? They're maybe going from job to job to home to kids to, this is a lifestyle. Eating well is a lifestyle. Eating well is art. Okay. So the next time you're tempted, or I'm tempted to point the finger at someone and say, you should really be doing better, let's get to know their story. I was going to say before we wag our finger, but no, let's not even wag the finger. Let's get to know their story, and maybe support them in the choices that they're making. We're almost out of time here, so I want to jump to a couple of other aspects of these power tips that are mentioned in our book. Have oh yeah, because nutrition isn't just about what we're putting into our bodies. It's also Part of the process of nutrition is also how we are engaging our bodies. Okay, so now let's take a look at this word creation. Most of us, more than likely, if you're watching this, you have the power to make some very important choices in your life. That's C. Okay, there. Okay. Um, Rest. It would it would do you well to get more sleep tonight so that you can make better choices about what you will then put into your body tomorrow. Okay. Um, Environment. It would do you well to clean up your kitchen so that you can get sweeter rest and make better choices to put in your body tomorrow. It would do you well to move your body and to engage your mind fruitfully, not um, not binge watching something. Maybe play Sudoku. But don't binge Sudoku either. Uh, so using your mind and moving your body in ways that are meaningful, that are helpful, taking a walk after you eat, all those sorts of things help you create an environment that is healthy for yourself, that is energizing, that is engaging, and a space you want to be in. Helps you to rest, sleep well at night, pause better during the day, and make better choices about what you're going to put in your body tomorrow. Trust in God. You may be thinking, yeah, there's some choices I need to make, there's some changes I need to make. I just don't know how it's going to happen. But God's been nudging you and saying, you can do it. And so for you today, right now, you need to make a choice. I'm going to trust Him. I'm going to say, okay, God, this is what you want from me. I'm going to move in this direction. And so you're going to move in that direction. And you're going to, as you move in that direction, you're going to create an environment that helps you to rest and make better choices for what you put into your mouth tomorrow. I hope this is actually working on your end. I'm pointing to the letters as I go. Maybe it doesn't work on your end, but if you're wondering what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing. And then we have interpersonal relationships. Oh my. There's nothing like friends who also want to consume good food. There's nothing like friends who are encouraging you in your healthy eating journey and not just simply saying, good for you, but I'm just not there yet. But friends who are saying, hey, let's do this together, right? So let's make a plan to add something new and good to our diet. Okay, tomorrow we're going to do it. We're going to add something, just one thing. And like I said, it may be water. Okay. And together, we're going to trust in God, hold each other accountable, pray together. We're going to move in the proper direction that we need to go, exercising our body, our minds in ways that encourage us to create good environments, that help us to rest, that help us make good choices for what we put into our body tomorrow. Outlook. The way that our mind is set, whether we are full of healthy optimism or destructive pessimism, um, has a lot to do with what we're putting into our bodies. You may be saying to yourself, I'm unhealthy now. My parents were unhealthy. Their parents were unhealthy. It's genetic. I just can't do it. I can't make any changes. I'm doomed. What are your friends saying too? If they're singing the same tune, get new ones. Um, What is God saying? I'm sure He's saying, hey, I got you. I'm with you. One step at a time. Let's take those steps to create an environment that's encouraging and helps us rest and make good choices for what we put into our bodies tomorrow. Thank you for being with me on this journey. If you haven't been able to watch all the episodes, that's fine. Episodes, like it's a TV show. But you can go back and watch, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube or on Periscope. You can go back in the history of our channels and find the other 7 videos and watch and grow. I can't wait to read through comments and send gifts your way. I'm excited to wrap up this time, and I want to wrap it up in some prayer. Okay, let's pray together. Dear God, thank you so much for these 8 days. Thank you for loving us so much that you give us these tools and you give us the time to invest in these tools. Thank you for loving us so much that day by day your mercies are new, and we have yet another time and opportunity to choose what's best for the life you've given to us. So, God, I'm not going to ask you to help us because I know you are. I'm going to ask you to nudge us in new ways if we're not listening. Use us to nudge each other if we're still not listening. Do what needs to be done, God, so that we can be your image bearers in the most beautiful way. Knowing that this health journey is not just about us, it's about those around us, it's about those we live with. Man, if our health is better, what a beautiful testament to your goodness that will be. Will be that much better to even just be around. So thank you. And help us also in this journey to give ourselves grace. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Take care, y'all. We'll catch you for another 8 days, another time.